Hello friends, welcome to Kakatiya IAS Academy. Today we'll discuss some of the MCQs based upon Hindu newspaper. The first question, which of the following are part of Pir Panjal range? Lahul Valley, Banihal Pass, Somorari Water Lake, Rohtang Pass. So which of them are part of Pir Panjal range? Right, so answer is B, that is 1, 2 and 4. Lahul Valley, Banihal Pass and Rohtang Pass, they are part of Pir Panjal range, whereas Somorari is a part of Ladakh range. Right, answer is B. So if you take the article that has appeared in Hindu paper, Rohtang Pass opened 3 weeks in advance. So this is the heading of the article. The Border Roads Organization on Saturday has opened Rohtang Pass for 3 weeks in advance in order to supply essential goods and relief material to the Lahul and Spiti districts of Himachal Pradesh. Right. So the pass is located on the eastern Pir Panjal range of Himalayas. Right. So this pass is opened by Border Roads Organization 3 weeks in advance in order to in order to ensure supplies of essential commodities. So both Lahul Valley and Spiti Valley, they are located on eastern parts of Pir Panjal range. Right. So based upon this question was framed, and apart from this, you can also locate this on the map. So do make additional notes on this. So this is Jaskar range, this is Pir Panjal range, and here lies Ladakh range. So this is Ladakh range, Jaskar range and Pir Panjal range. So these are different passes which I took it from PMF IAS. Banihal Pass, Rohtang Pass, right, and Somorari, it lies in the Ladakh range. Right, so these are different passes. Try to make a notes on this area also. So coming to second question, consider the following statements about Border Roads Organization. It works under Ministry of External Affairs. Right, it develops and maintain the operational road infrastructure in the border areas. It contributes to the socio-economic development of border states. So which of the above is true? Right. So the second question is on Border Roads Organization. The first statement states that it works under Ministry of External Affairs. It is involved in development and maintaining of operational road infrastructure in the border areas. It contributes to the socio-economic development of border states. Which of the above is true? Answer is only 2 and 3 are correct. Right. So here it works not in the Ministry of External Affairs. It works under Ministry of Defense. Right. So it develops and maintains operational road infrastructure in the border areas. It contributes to the socio-economic development of the border states. This information is taken from bro.gov.in, Border Roads Organization. Right. So it develops and maintains operational road infrastructure in the border areas, contribute to the socio-economic development of the border states. Right. So this is what about first and second questions. Coming to third question. Third question is on Arogya Setu app. Right. So if you take this issue, so let me go to the question. Consider the following statements about Arogya Setu app. It is a government-owned application and is being posed as the primary contact tracing tool in India. It is developed by National Informatics Center under Department of Science and Technology. According to the privacy policy of the app, it gives it gives users a color coding of green and yellow based on their self-assessment. Right? Which of the above is true? It is a government-owned application and is being posed as the primary contacting prime. To the third question, consider the following statements about Arogya Setu app. It is a government-owned application and is being posed as the primary contact tracing tool in India. Developed by National Informatics Center under Department of Science and Technology. According to the privacy policy of app, it gives users a color coding of green and yellow based on their self-assessment. Which of the above is true? Answer is 1 and 3. 3. Right? So it is a government-owned application and is seen as a primary contact tracing tool in India. Right? So it is developed by NIC, but under the Ministry of Electronics and Technology. Electronics and Information Technology. Right? So according to the privacy policy of the app, it gives the users a color coding of green and yellow based on their self-assessment. So second one is wrong. 1 and 3 are correct. Right? So this is the issue which has appeared in Hindu paper. What are the concerns surrounding around Arogya Setu app? Right? So this is the issue. So this app is available in 11 languages. It is developed by National Informatics Center under Ministry of Information, under the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Right? It is most downloaded app in India. In a single day, it was downloaded by around 75 million people. Right? So this app has now added on functionalities such as donations to the PM cares and hosting e-passes for the essential service providers. Alright, so it alerts the users on the nearest COVID-19 patient. So according to the privacy policy of the app, it gives the users a color coding of green and yellow based upon their self-assessment. The data of users who fall in the yellow category are uploaded to the server, while data of those in the green category, purportedly the lower risk group, is retained in the app. Alright, so this is the information. So this is the privacy policy of the app. Alright, so based upon this question was framed. Right, you can get the answer from this Hindu paper. So the main criticism is that with no legislation on how the online privacy of Indians is to be protected. So as of now, there is no clear legislation on protecting the privacy data of the individual. Alright, so it is again seen as a threat on the privacy of individual. Alright, so these are the basic concerns of this issue. The third question. Coming to fourth question. Which of the following about Prime Minister's Citizens Assistance and Relief in Emergency Fund is correct? So Prime Minister is the ex-officio chairman of PM CARES Fund. Right? It is public charitable trust under the name of Prime Minister's Citizens Assistance. It is a public charitable trust under the name of Prime Minister's Citizens Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situations Fund. The fund consists entirely of voluntary contributions from the individuals or organizations and through budgetary support. Right? So this is the question on PM CARES. It is Prime Minister is the ex-officio chairman of the PM CARES Fund. So it is a public charitable trust fund. The fund mainly consists of voluntary contributions and budgetary support. Which of the above is true? Which of the above is true? So third statement is utterly wrong because it only consists of voluntary contributions. So it is not supported by budget. So third is wrong. Answer is 1 and 2. Answer is 1 and 2. Alright. So here is the information on PM CARES Fund. So it is a public charitable trust under the name of Prime Minister's Assistance, Citizens Assistance and Relief in Emergency Situation Fund. Right. So the purpose of this fund is to render financial assistance, provide grants of payments of money, or take other steps as may be deemed necessary by the Board of Trustees. Right. So it undertakes any other activity which is not inconsistent with the above objectives. Right. So you take the constitution of the trust. Prime Minister is the ex officio chairman of the fund, and Minister of Defence, Minister of Home Affairs, Minister of Finance of Government of India are ex officio trustees of the fund. So that means apart from Prime Minister acting as ex officio chairman, it consists of Minister of Defence, Home Affairs and Finance as the trustees of the fund, ex officio trustees of the fund. The chairperson of the Board of Trustees, that is Prime Minister, shall have the power to nominate 3 trustees to the Board of Trustees who shall be eminent persons in the field of research, health, science, social work, law, public administration and philanthropy. Any person appointed a trustee shall take in a pro bono capacity. Right. So the fund consists entirely of voluntary contributions from the individuals and or organizations and does not get any budgetary support. The fund will be utilized in meeting the objectives of the stated objectives above. Right. So this is about information on PM CARES. So answer is, coming to fourth question, the answer is only 1 and 2. Correct. Fifth question. Coming to fifth question. Which of the following are correct about BRICS? It emerged as intergovernmental and formal grouping of countries. Right. The original aim of BRICS was the establishment of an equitable, democratic and multipolar world order. South Africa joined the group in 2010. So fifth question is about BRICS. Question is about BRICS. Which of the following are correct about BRICS? It emerged as an intergovernmental and formal grouping of countries. The original aim of BRICS was establishment of equitable, democratic and multipolar world order. South Africa joined the group in 2010. Which of the above are correct? It has emerged as intergovernmental and formal groupings. So BRICS, for the first time, it was emerged in 2001. So originally when it was formed in 2001, said there was no South Africa. It is a grouping of Brazil, Russia, India and China. Right? So it was just an informal grouping. So first is wrong. First one is wrong. Right? So answer is, so the original aim of BRIC was the establishment of equitable, democratic and multipolar world order. So if you take the difference between first and second statement, in first statement we are using the word BRICS, it is BRICS, but in second statement it is about BRIC. So Brazil, Russia, India and China. Right, second is correct. South Africa joined the group in 2010. Formally, it has joined in 2010, making BRIC as BRICS. Right. So answer is only 2 and 3. Right. You can get the information from Wikipedia. So this is the side. Coming to sixth question. Consider the following statements. The National Agriculture Cooperative Marketing Federation, shortly called as NAFED, is the nodal agency which procures and stores buffer stock of pulses. The Food Corporation of India is the nodal central agency of Government of India, along with other state agencies, undertakes procurement of wheat and paddy under price support scheme. Which of the above is true? Right? So if you take NAFED, NAFED is the nodal agency in procurement and maintaining buffer stock of pulses. So first one is true. Second one, Food Corporation of India along with other state agencies is involved in procurement of wheat and paddy under price support schemes. So both 1 and 2 are correct. Both 1 and 2 are correct, right? So if you take the article that has appeared in Hindu paper, only 15% of the poor households receives pulses, right? So this is the heading that has appeared in Hindu paper. So recently the government of India has provided extra ration for the month of April to June, where the amount of extra ration given is 5 kgs of rice and wheat, right, for the months of April to June. So all those households, all those people or households who are receiving food grains under National Food Security Act, they will be provided an extra ration of 5 kgs of rice and wheat, right? So this was the statement made by Finance Minister of India, right? So this is given as a part of Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana, right? So here it is in this context. It is in this context, right? Right. I have made this question where rice and wheat are procured by Food Corporation of India, whereas pulses are procured by NAFED. So objectives of NAFED shall be to organize, promote and develop marketing, processing and storage of agriculture, horticulture and forest produces, distribution of agriculture machinery, implement and other imports, undertake interstate import and export trade, wholesale or retail as the case may be, right? So in furtherance of these objectives, NAFED may also undertake the following objectives, right? So it facilitates, coordinates and promotes the marketing and trading of activities of cooperative institutions. Go through the website of NAFED, right? We'll get additional information. Similarly is, right? So FCI is the nodal agency, right, with other state undertakes procurement of wheat and paddy under price support scheme. So coming to 7th question, right? Which of the following is regarded as the most effective instrument of parliamentary control over executive? 0 hour, question hour, calling attention motion, adjournment motion, right? So the most effective instrument of parliamentary control over executive is question hour, right? Question hour is regarded as the most important control exercised by parliament. So according to the former British Prime Minister E.L. Attlee, so question hour makes the executive to stand on its toes. So this itself shows the importance of question hour. So question hour makes the executive to stand on its toes. This is what a statement given by E.L. Attlee, the former British Prime Minister, right? So the most effective instrument of parliamentary control over executive is question hour, right? Consider the following. Coming to 8th question. Consider the following statements. The chairman of Rajya Sabha has power to decide if a question is to be answered orally or not, right? Start questions which cannot be answered orally can be answered in a written form after the questionnaire, right? The chairman of Rajya Sabha acts as chairman of Business Advisory Council of the House. So chairman, so here the context is about the chairman of Rajya Sabha. So the chairman of Rajya Sabha decides if a question is to be answered orally or not. Start questions which cannot be answered orally can be answered in a written form after the questionnaire. Chairman of Rajya Sabha acts as chairman of Business Advisory Council. Which of the above is true? Answer is all the above. All of them are true. So it is the chairman of Rajya Sabha, right, who has the final authority to decide whether a question to be answered orally or not. So if there is a shortage of time where oral answer is not possible, then chairman of Rajya Sabha can allow for a written answer for the starred questions asked. We normally know that starred questions are answered orally, but when there is lack of time, starred questions can be answered in a written format. Right? Coming to third statement, chairman of Rajya Sabha acts as chairman of Business Advisory Council. So all the above are true. So all this information is taken from the website of Rajya Sabha. So you can find this in rules book of Rajya Sabha. So everything is clearly given. All these statements are taken from rules book of Rajya Sabha. Here I'll try to show the content of the rules book. Please go through this content. The procedure. So here is about Business Advisory Council, the quorum, answering the questions. Alright, so all these three statements are taken from the rules book of Rajya Sabha. Alright, so you can go through it. Coming to ninth question. According to World Health Organization, One Health is an approach to achieve better public. Coming to ninth question. According to World Health Organization, One Health is an approach to achieve better public health outcomes, which includes food safety, control of zoonoses, combating antibiotic resistance. So One Health includes, the concept of One Health includes food safety, the control over zoonoses, combating antibiotic resistance. Which of the above is true? So which of them are included, right, in the concept of One Health? Right, One Health approach, right, to achieve better public health outcomes. So answer is all the above. All of them are a part of One Health approach. Right, so you can see the article that has appeared in Hindu paper. Why pathogens travel in search of host? Right, so here it is in this article we find the mention about this concept of One Health approach. So according to World Health Organization, One Health is an approach to design. Right? It is an approach to designing and implementing programs, policies, legislations, and research in which multiple sectors communicate and work together to achieve better public health outcomes. One Health approach is particularly relevant, includes food safety, control of zoonoses, and combating antibiotic resistance. The concept helps practitioners understanding disease determinants, manage risk, and optimize interventions. Right? So this is what the concept of One Health. So One Health is a key principle for the control of zoonotic diseases, antimicrobial resistance, food safety, and vector-borne diseases. Right? So this is what the concept of One Health. So here, coming to our question, the answer is all the above. 10th question is again on One Health. One Health is an approach that recognizes that the health of people is closely connected to the health of animals and our shared environment. One Health is an approach that recognizes health of people is closely connected to the health of animals and our shared environment. One Health is an approach to designing and implementing programs, policies, legislations, and research in which multiple sectors communicate and work together, achieving better public health outcomes. So answer is both are correct. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Right? So I want to give us a small information on this area. Right? Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Right? So in the website of this Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, you can find the basics of One Health. Right? So what is One Health? One Health is an approach that recognizes that the health of people is closely connected to the health of animals and our shared environment. Right? So this is the approach that is being advocated by WHO in controlling the pandemics, right? So you can go through this website and you can get all the information on pandemics or zoonotic or you can get the information on zoonotic diseases. So coming to 11th question, which are the examples of zoonotic diseases? Examples of zoonotic disease includes anthrax, brucellosis, limb disease, ringworm, Ebola, right? So here you can find the examples of all the zoonotic diseases and their causing factors. In the same website, you can also find the causing factors and complete information of all these diseases, right? So here the answer is all the above. All of them are zoonotic diseases. Coming to 12th question. Consider the following statements about Nipah virus. So it can be transmitted through contaminated food or indirectly between people. There is no treatment or vaccine available for either people or animals. The primary treatment for humans is supportive care. Which of them is true? Right? So here question is on Nipah virus. So it can be transmitted through contaminated food or directly between people. Right? Second statement, there is no treatment or vaccine available for either people or animals. The primary treatment for human is supportive care. So answer is yes, both are correct. Both are correct answers. So you can get the information on WHO site, right? Alright. So this site provides information on all the diseases, all the pandemics, right? So here I am stressing because in Hindu paper, right, different pandemics are being mentioned here. You can see here a chart has been given where there is a mention about Nipah virus, right, which was linked to intensification of pig farming and fruit production in Malaysia, Japanese encephalitis, right, which was linked to irrigated rice production and pig farming in Southeast Asia, Ebola, right, it is an outbreak, we are at Ebola outbreak in Africa, which was a result of forest losses. We find a mention of Ebola, right? So it is an outbreak in Africa, which was a result of forest losses leading to closer contacts between wildlife and human settlements. Rabies, here transmitted by vampire bats to cattle and human beings. Right, then SARS, which is associated with contact with cavid cats, either in the wild or in the live animal markets. Avian influenza, which was linked to poultry farming, right? So this is what about the different zoonotic diseases which are mentioned in Hindu paper. So based upon this, you can make a question or try to collect information all this, and you can get all this information in WHO site. The causing factors, the transmitters, the medication available, and everything is present in WHO site. Alright, so this is what for today's questions. I hope you have enjoyed. Thank you.